Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your Friday Night Smackdown post-show. And man, not a whole lot happened on SmackDown, to be honest with you. There was some interesting points that happened on SmackDown. All in all, the show was kind of mid, to be honest with you. I think SmackDown needs to consider going back to 2 hours and not 3. Man, I think 3 hours for SmackDown is absolutely ridiculous. But there was a little bit of interesting stuff that happened at the end of the show. And obviously some more storyline projection going into this year's WrestleMania, man. So let's start off with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre interrupts the show, grabs a microphone. Drew mocks Aldis, but Nick Aldis comes out to the ring. Aldis tells Drew that there is nothing to make right. Aldis says things happen to Drew because of his consequences and his consequences alone. Drew then calls Aldis a corporate stooge. Aldis then says that the first fair shot that Rhodes got, Rhodes beat Drew. Drew then tells Aldis to make this right or else. After that, Nick Aldis and McIntyre are interrupted by the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Fatu comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Fatu says that Drew wouldn't be champion if it wasn't for him. Fatu says that he was the one that screwed Drew in his title match. Drew then said he's done with everyone, and Drew says that he quits and he walks off to the backstage area. Some interesting stuff there from Drew McIntyre. Moving on from that, we got a tag team matchup. It is Uncle Howdy teaming up with Eric Rowan to take on Tala Tonga and Solo Sikoa from the MFTs. The match itself, it was an okay match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between both teams with Solo and Tala keeping the pace of the match. Solo hits a spike on Howdy for a near fall. The Wyatt Six and the MFTs fight ringside. Nikki Cross then grabs the lantern. This allowed Uncle Howdy to hit a Sister Abigail on Solo in the middle of the ring. Pins for the 3. And your winners of the match are Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan. After the match, Uncle Howdy grabbed the lantern, but Tonga Tonga comes out of nowhere, attacks Uncle Howdy. Tama then grabs back the lantern, and it looks like we are far from over between the Wyatt Six and the MFTs. Moving on from that, we go to our next match of the night. It's Jade Cargill taking on Meechin. I thought it was an okay match. A back-and-forth matchup between Jade and Meechin, with Meechin keeping the pace of the match. Meechin hits a Hurricane Rana on Jade, but Jade gets up, hits a big boot, taking out Meechin. Jade then hits a follow-by slam on the outside, followed by Jade hitting a spine buster on Meechin for a near fall. Meechin then gets up, hits a Pele kick, followed by a Eat the Feet on Jade Cargill. Jade then gets up, tries to get some offense in by hitting a powerbomb on Meechin onto the barricade, followed by Jade hitting her signature Jaded on Meechin, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Jade Cargill. After the match, Jade grabs a microphone and says that that's what happens when someone believes in their own hype. Jade says that the women are scared of her backstage. Jade then mocks Rhea Ripley. Jade says that she is going to beat Rhea's ass at WrestleMania. After that, Jade is quickly interrupted by Rhea Ripley. Ripley comes out to the ring. Jade then backs down and leaves the ring. Rhea then says that you are out here running your mouth, but you're running away. Rhea said at WrestleMania, Jade is going to be her bitch. Some interesting stuff there between Rhea Ripley and WWE Women's Champion Jade Cargill. Moving on from that, we have a tag team matchup. For the women's tag team titles, it is Nia Jax and Lash Legend from the Irresistible Force taking on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. But before the match even gets started, the Bellas are here. Bree says it's great to be at SmackDown in their hometown. Bree says that it doesn't matter who wins, the Bellas want the women's tag team titles. Now, the match itself between the Irresistible Force, Bliss, and Flair, it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Nia Jax and Lash Legend keeping the pace of the match. Flair was landing chops on Lash in the middle of the ring, followed by Nia hitting a Samoan drop on Flair in the middle of the ring. Flair then gets up, hits a moonsault off the top rope for a near fall. Alexa then hits a DDT in the middle of the ring. Flair then accidentally kicks Nikki Bella. Nia then attacks Brie Bella. Flair then hits a natural selection, but Brie enters the ring. She attacks Nia Jax. And the match ultimately ends in a disqualification, but Lash and Nia Jax end up attacking the Bellas as well. Some interesting stuff there from the Bellas. Moving on from that, we got another tag team matchup. It is Damian Priest teaming up with R-Truth to take on Los Garza. This match was made earlier on in the night. The match itself was a decent match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between both teams, with Damian Priest and R-Truth keeping the pace of the match. Truth hits a Hurricane Rana in the middle of the ring. Berto then hits a springboard enziguri. Los Garza then hit a moonsault to the outside, taking out Priest and R-Truth. Berto then hits a springboard back elbow in the middle of the ring, followed by Garza hitting a moonsault for a near fall. Priest then gets up, hits a Razor's Edge, followed by a choke slam. Truth then hits an AA, pins for the 3. And your winners of the match and seemingly new number 1 contenders for the World Tag Team or the WWE Tag Team titles are Damian Priest and R-Truth. Hats off to Priest and Truth for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have The Miz with the Miz TV. Miz is interviewing none other than Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll grabs a microphone. He talks about the road to WrestleMania. He also talks about Orton and Rhodes. Miz says that Jelly Roll needs a mentor, but Jelly Roll tells the Miz no. Jelly then says that every time Miz tries to help someone, he stabs them in the back. Miz says that he helped Jelly Roll lose his weight. Jelly Roll says that Miz should be ashamed of himself. Miz then says he liked Jelly better when he was fat. Jelly Roll then says he will beat the Miz's ass. After this, both Jelly Roll and the Miz are interrupted by none other than Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson says that Jelly Roll is a problem. Jelly says that this is getting weird, but he says that he also likes Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson then says Jelly is no hero, and that Kit Wilson calls Jelly fat. Kit says that Jelly Roll is toxic, and after this, Jelly Roll ends up knocking out The Miz. Some interesting stuff there from Jelly Roll. Moving on from that, we have our next match of the night. It's Kiana James taking on Tiffany Stratton. I actually thought this was a really good match. Back and forth matchup between James and Stratton, with James keeping the pace of the match. James and Stratton both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Chelsea Green and Alba Fire coming out to the ring. Kiana James hits a Michinoku driver on Stratton for a near fall in the middle of the ring. Julia then pulls Kiana out of the ring. Kiana then accidentally kicks Julia. This allowed Tiffany Stratton to hit a best moonsault ever off the top rope, landing on Kiana James, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match is Tiffany Stratton. Hats off to Tiffany Stratton for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is Jacob Fatu taking on Trick Williams. I thought this was a good match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Fatu and Williams, with Fatu keeping the pace of the match. Fatu hits a handspring moonsault, followed by a whisper in the wind off the top rope, landing on Trick. Trick then tries to get some offense in by hitting a bookend on Fatu for a near fall. Fatu then hits a Samoan drop, followed by a swanton for a near fall. McIntyre then comes out of nowhere, attacks Jacob Fatu. This allowed Trick to hit a running knee on Jacob Fatu, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Trick Williams. After the match, you can see Drew McIntyre attacking Jacob Fatu, so it looks like Drew McIntyre has some unfinished business with the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. And moving on from that, closing out the night for SmackDown, we have Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes for their contract signing for their matchup at WrestleMania. We have Nick Aldis in the middle of the ring. Orton and Rhodes are in the ring. They both showed respect to each other before signing the contract. Rhodes talks about coming to WWE in 2007, and that his first match was against Orton. Rhodes then talks about coming back to WWE. He also mentions that Orton was always there. Orton says that Rhodes doesn't understand. Orton says that this was supposed to be Drew McIntyre. Rhodes then tells Orton that no matter what happens at Mania, he will always love Orton. Orton then hits a low blow on Rhodes, followed by Orton attacking Rhodes. Rhodes is now busted wide open. Jelly Roll is here. He tries to calm down Orton, but Orton pushes Jelly Roll away. Orton then hits Rhodes with a chair shot. Rhodes is bleeding all over the place, and then Orton then sits in the middle of the ring holding the WWE title. Some interesting stuff there from Randy Orton. So, a couple of things I want to talk about with you guys, man, when it pertains to Friday Night SmackDown. Now, was this a great show? No. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. SmackDown does not need to be 3 hours. It just doesn't. I think SmackDown needs to go back to being 2 hours, and that's it. I honestly genuinely believe that SmackDown does not have the roster, or they're not building enough superstars on SmackDown to make SmackDown worthwhile for watching 3 hours every Friday night. Every Friday night, SmackDown is from 8 to 11, bro. It is absolutely boring. I'm sorry. It is absolutely boring. There's really nothing that's really truly intriguing on SmackDown. I have been hoping that Obafemi signs with SmackDown because it's somebody that can bring a little limelight to SmackDown, being that they're 3 hours long. I don't know what Obafemi's doing. I don't know if he's staying on Raw. I don't know if he's going to be on SmackDown. Right now, technically, he's a free agent, and he's bouncing back and forth from either Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. He just had a matchup against Rusev on Raw, so I don't know what Obafemi's doing, but he would be a great addition to the SmackDown roster because 3 hours for SmackDown, bro, it's absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. So there is a couple talking points that happened on SmackDown. Obviously, we had a celebrity guest in the house, none other than Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll was a part of the Miz TV segment with The Miz. So I want to talk about that and my takes on this whole Jelly Roll thing. So I do believe, and call me crazy, there has been rumors and speculation that Jelly Roll might be in the festivities for WrestleMania weekend. There's rumors that Jelly Roll might be a part of a tag team matchup with The Miz. Maybe Danhausen gets involved as well. They're talking about a possibility of a tag team matchup here involving Jelly Roll with The Miz and Danhausen. That has been rumored and speculated. Now, do I think it's going to happen? Who knows? Do I really give a rat's ass about seeing Jelly Roll back in the ring? No, I do not. I'm sorry. Look, man, I know there's a lot of fans out there of Jelly Roll. I'm not really a particular super fan of Jelly Roll. I think he has some decent music. I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't have good music. I'm just not a super Jelly Roll fan. But I get it. It's WrestleMania weekend. Obviously, they want to have a lot of eyeballs on WWE. So bringing in the celebrity aspect into WrestleMania, I get it. WrestleMania has been doing that whole concept of bringing in celebrities or musicians or vice versa for many, many years since the very beginning of WrestleMania. I mean, hell, I think the first time they brought in, Sidney Laufer, they brought in Muhammad Ali. So obviously, it's a spectacle, man. This is the biggest event of the year for pro wrestling, and it's the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. So obviously, they're going to have some celebrity appearances for WrestleMania. And Jelly Roll, I think, is on the list as far as being special guest or a special guest for WrestleMania. Obviously, he's a big wrestling fan. He's had matches. He had a match, I believe, against Logan Paul not too long ago. I believe last year at SummerSlam. He was also in segments with Randy Orton. So obviously, Jelly Roll is familiar with the WWE as well as the WWE familiar with Jelly Roll. We all get that. But it looks like they're trying to plan a match. Well, at least rumor or speculated that Jelly Roll might have some kind of involvement into this year's WrestleMania festivities. I'm going to be honest, man. I've been telling you guys this, and I'm going to continue to keep telling you guys this. WrestleMania this year, I think, is going to be a huge letdown for a lot of people. That's just my belief. I know a lot of people go, well, man, they got a lot of injuries. They got a lot of injuries. I get it. Breaker's out, Bronson Reed. But, bro, they've had injuries long enough where they need to learn how to adapt. That's just the way it is, bro. Injuries are going to happen. It's how do you adapt and overcome those injuries to put on the best show that you possibly can. And let's face facts, man. This is not just a normal pay-per-view for WWE. This is their biggest show of the year, of the calendar year. This is their Super Bowl. So you got to put on the best matches that you possibly can. I mean, there have been people at the floodgates of WWE that are praying and hoping that we get a matchup here between Brock Lesnar and Obafemi because it is a money match to make. And quite frankly, I mean, adding just Punk and Reigns, Rhodes and Orton, and Obafemi versus Lesnar, those are 3 blockbuster matches that can have a lot of hype around WrestleMania. I mean, you roughly got about, 5 weeks until we get to WrestleMania? I mean, you can start building that shit now. Because right now on paper, if we're looking on both sides of the fence, whether it's SmackDown or Raw, the main storyline going into WrestleMania right now is CM Punk and Randy Orton. I mean, wow, CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Which they're doing a phenomenal job by telling this story with Punk and Roman. Now, with, the Usos attacking CM Punk after the comments that Punk made towards Roman about burying Roman next to his father, Sika, and now it's made it personal. And now the Usos are getting involved. There's some people even speculating that The Rock might get involved because of the comments that CM Punk made about Sika. And the fact that The Rock is a part of this bloodline, the fact that CM Punk did not apologize to Jimmy and Jay for the comments that he made about Sika towards Roman Reigns. So again, there's storyline in that in itself. So, and then we finally get the announcement of Orton and Rhodes after Rhodes had beat McIntyre for the WWE Championship last week on SmackDown. So that story just now is getting started. And now that's intensifying, so now we're going to talk about that as well. But I don't know, man. SmackDown as a whole last night wasn't the greatest. You know, we see the likes of Jelly Roll and stuff like that. I get it. You got to have the celebrity appearances. I understand that. I honestly give a rat's ass about it, to be honest with you. We also see Jade Cargill in a matchup against Meechin. This might be the first time we've seen Meechin in quite some time. Hell, to be honest with you, I'm still waiting for Keith Lee to show up in AEW. It's been about 2 goddamn years since we've seen Keith Lee. But we saw Meechin on SmackDown as well, taking on Jade Cargill. A little bit of a grudge match there between Meechin and Jade, where Jade was successful in that match. We saw Rhea Ripley showing up, pretty much getting face-to-face with Jade backing down from the confrontation with Rhea Ripley. I already gave you my thoughts about Jade and this matchup at WrestleMania. I feel like it's going to be very, very lackluster going into this year's WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre. I mean, Drew right now, man, on paper, he's probably the MVP of SmackDown right now. Hands down. He's the only guy that's on that roster right now that brings some intrigue to Friday nights because he's very unpredictable with what he's going to do. At first, he told everybody, Nick Aldis and Jacob Fatu and the whole world, that he quit. And then he shows up and then beats the dog shit out of Jacob Fatu. So most likely we are going to see that matchup between McIntyre and Fatu at WrestleMania. I can just see it happening. And honestly, am I against it? No. I think it's going to be a hell of a match, but I know a lot of people are still frustrated on the whole fact that McIntyre dropped the belt to Cody. I'm not that pissed about it, to be honest with you. I think Drew is actually set to take some time off after Mania because supposedly he's filming the new Highlander movie right around WrestleMania weekend or after WrestleMania. So he's going to be taking some time off. That's the rumor that I heard. So I'm not completely against Rhodes being the champion. The matchup between Rhodes and Orton. Now, I do want to talk about this. This was the main vocal point that happened on SmackDown last night, was Orton and Rhodes and this contract signing. You know, a lot of people, bro, myself included, have been patiently waiting for a heel turn, most notably with Cody. Because a lot of people at this point now where, I mean, hell, when Cody came out to the ring for this contract signing, Cody came out to a couple boos. You know, there's a lot of fans out there that are still patiently waiting for a Cody heel turn. And again, that could happen. I'm not sitting here saying that it won't happen. But does it need to happen? Yeah. Because the thing with Cody is this, bro, is we had this whole storyline for 2 goddamn years with Cody chasing after Roman Reigns in the Bloodline. And Cody, at that time, was the biggest babyface of all of WWE. He was the biggest babyface of the company. A lot of people, and I honestly agree with a lot of people, I mean, Cody turning heel could possibly be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, heel turn in all professional wrestling. This is a guy who has told people that he doesn't want to turn heel, and that he's QB1 for WWE. He is the biggest babyface in WWE. You know, and if Cody were to turn heel, bro, I mean, it's in the category with Hogan and Cena for sure. Absolutely. You know, you give Cody Rhodes a whole new look. You know, he dyes the hair from blonde to, black hair. He comes out with these black suits. A more pissed off, egotistical heel Cody Rhodes. More Hollywood Rhodes, if you will. I mean, bro, it can totally fucking work. It could work. You know what I mean? Hell, I mean, to be honest with you, if they wanted to run it back, I'm not saying this will happen. I know some people are going to be like, bro, there's no way you're thinking about this, but just hear me out. If they wanted to run back a storyline here between Cody and Dwayne, where Cody sells his soul to The Rock, and then Cody turns heel, we get a more Hollywood, edgier Cody Rhodes. I'm not against it, bro, at all. Bro, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that Dwayne's going to be the mentor of Cody, but he can keep an eye on Cody. Be the, I wouldn't say even the, like Paul Heyman is for Cody. But what I'm saying is Rock could be the one pulling the punches backstage to put Cody in positions to really, piss off a lot of people. So I'm not against, if Cody Rhodes were to turn heel, bro, it'd probably be one of the biggest things in all of WWE. And like I said, call me crazy, but I'll be on this island by myself. If Cody does turn heel, bro, Cody would have to be in the conversation as one of the biggest heel turns in all professional wrestling. He would have to be in the conversation with the likes of a Hulk Hogan and John Cena as far as them turning heel. Absolutely. Because this guy is QB1 for WWE, man. He is the guy. He is the company guy that's carrying this company on his back. And hell, he did it for 2 goddamn years. He was the guy. So to see him turn heel would be absolutely incredible. But we didn't get that on SmackDown. Instead, we got the return of the Viper, Randy Orton. Orton lost his shit. He hit a low blow on Cody Rhodes and literally beat the dog shit out of Cody Rhodes all over that arena, to a point where Rhodes was left in a bloody mess on the announce table, and you could just see Randy Orton holding that title, pretty much letting Cody Rhodes know that this is not something that he wants, that he needs this. Orton had made it abundantly clear to Rhodes that he needs this title. He needs this win. And I'm going to be honest, bro. I know a lot of people are, oh man, Cody Rhodes is not going to drop the belt that fast. I'm not. I mean, look, at the end of the day, am I against Orton winning the title? No, I'm not. I'm not. Cody chasing after Orton? I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. Because after Mania, at that point, then it's a full reset for WWE. It starts a new calendar year. You know, then we start off the new year with Backlash. So, I mean, again, this is something that's very intriguing. Now we have two predominant storylines going into WrestleMania. We have Punk, Reigns, Orton, and Rhodes. Two, matches that have a lot of history with each other's opponents. I mean, CM Punk has made it abundantly clear with the history that he's had with Roman. Bringing in the Shield, bringing in the likes of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, and Roman telling Punk, well, you didn't choose me. You chose Chris Hero instead and not me. Roman came into the fold of the Shield and became a thing, but the Shield was supposed to be there to back up CM Punk. So obviously there's a history there. I mean, Punk, even on Raw, talked about the history that he had with the Bloodline. Wrestling in Allentown and wrestling under, Alpha and Sika and, the wrestling school they had over in Allentown. Sleeping on their couches and stuff like that. I mean, Punk talks about the history that he's had with the Bloodline, with Alpha and Sika. So it's a very personal matchup here between Roman and Punk. And then you look at Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. It's very personal as well. Like Rhodes said, he came into the WWE in 2007. He wrestled, his first match was against Orton. Orton had saw something in Cody Rhodes. They made legacy with Orton and Rhodes. It was a good stable. The backstage segments and the storylines that Orton had as a legend killer, and Orton going after Dusty Rhodes, and Dustin Rhodes getting involved, and Cody getting involved. I mean, not for nothing, really, Randy put Cody on the map when he first came into WWE. Orton really gave him an opportunity. Orton was already well established at that point around 2007. He was his own man in WWE. He was no longer around with Evolution and shit like that. I mean, Orton was doing his own thing. But he saw something in Cody. So they made that storyline with the Legend Killer and, Orton going after Dusty. Rest in peace to the late, great Dusty Rhodes. And it really put Cody Rhodes on the map. They really gave an opportunity for Cody, and that's all pointed towards Orton. Obviously there's a relationship there between Orton and Rhodes. A friendship. You know what I mean? If it was, I don't think if it was for Orton, I don't think we would really know that much about Cody Rhodes on the fact that, he's Dusty Rhodes' kid. Orton really put Rhodes on the map. He really did. So this match is personal for all parties involved, whether it's Rhodes and Orton or whether it's CM Punk and Roman Reigns. But again, I mean, we got roughly 5 weeks from now to get to WrestleMania, and bro, the road to WrestleMania has been lackluster up to this point until now. We got Orton and Rhodes, and we were getting a little bit with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. But for the longest time now here, for the past couple weeks, the main storyline going into WrestleMania has solely been CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And we're talking about the biggest show of the year for pro wrestling, man, the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? And the match card is not even done yet, and we're only 5 weeks out. And some people say, well, bro, we still got, 5 weeks. They should have been hitting the fucking gas pedal for this shit after fucking Royal Rumble. They've been playing like I told you guys, man, they're playing the slow game, man. They're backpedaling their asses off. There needs to be some intrigue. There needs to be some investment into these matches going into WrestleMania. That needs to happen. And now we're getting the slow burn now with CM Punk and CM Punk and Reigns and Rhodes and Orton. But there needs to be more intrigue. I know Monday Night Raw, we're supposed to be seeing the likes of Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I think they're in Houston, Texas, or San Antonio, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And everybody's still waiting to see who Brock Lesnar's going to challenge. Some people are even saying it might be Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, because after what Rollins did to Paul Heyman. Is it a match that I really necessarily want to see between Rollins and Brock? No, because we've already seen it. They were already saying that the rumors of LA Knight versus Brock Lesnar, if that's the case and it is LA Knight might as well call it a career. As far as him being in WWE, man, because that's a glorified squash. For sure. That just tells me they don't give a rat's ass about LA Knight. But there's intrigue in that as well, because Paul Heyman now is out. Breaker is out. Bronson Reed's out. I mean, is Breaker going to be healthy enough to compete in the WrestleMania match against Seth Rollins? Is that something that's going to happen? I mean, the way I would book it is this, bro. If Braun Breaker is ready and healthy to go, and after what we saw on Monday Night Raw with, Seth Rollins and seemingly all his little minions with these, black sweatshirt, black pants, and these black masks, I think the story that I would make if Breaker was going to return is have Seth Rollins in the ring with some of his minions, and all of a sudden one of those minions, they all leave, and one of those minions stand in the ring, attack Seth Rollins. And that person is none other than Braun Breaker. And then we set up Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. Now, if we get that, then you're looking at the fact that we have now CM Punk and Reigns, Orton and Rhodes, Rollins and Breaker. Those are some heavy hitters right there. That right there are some heaters coming out the gate. But we don't know if Breaker's healthy. We don't know. We know that he needed or required hernia surgery, but we don't know if he's going to be ready to go to compete. We don't know. They could be playing a slow game, and then they have Braun Breaker return maybe this week on Raw or the following week. We don't know. We don't know what Seth Rollins is going to do until we see what happens on Monday Night Raw. Brock Lesnar, he's thrown out this open challenge, pretty much asking, the backstage, roster, or the roster for the matter, who has the cojones to challenge him at WrestleMania. I think it's a damn shame that Brock has to have an open challenge for an opponent at WrestleMania. Number one. And number two, the person that should answer that open challenge, it fits perfectly, bro, is Obafemi. Obafemi now has been answering open challenges now for the past couple weeks. Johnny Gargano, most notably. Gargano threw out an open challenge, and then it was Obafemi that beat the dog shit out of Gargano. Could you imagine this week on Raw, he throws out that open challenge again, and then we get to none other than Obafemi face-to-face with Brock Lesnar. You got the Ruler and the Beast in the middle of the ring face-to-face. That's a money-making match. Book the fucking match. And then WrestleMania is saved, bro. I'm telling you guys right now. You got Obafemi Lesnar, Rhodes, Orton, Punk and Reigns. Sold. Sold, bro. Sold. Because I can tell you right now, Obafemi and Lesnar can main event any one of those nights, bro. Now, are they going to? Most probably not. But could they? Absolutely. Could you imagine a marquee for WrestleMania with Obafemi versus Lesnar? The Ruler versus the Beast. You got the Ruler versus the Beast. You got the Nightmare versus the Viper. And you got the best in the world taking on the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania. Sold, bro. Those are 3 heavy-hitting matches going into WrestleMania. 3 bangers. Book the fucking match. It's self-explanatory. And that's the other thing. And that's the other news I want to get into. When it pertains to that Obafemi Lesnar shit, there was news and rumors that came out about Lesnar, where supposedly Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar had approached WWE staff backstage and had told those staff members that Brock refuses to lose until he retires, which ultimately puts the matches with Gunther and matches with Obafemi in jeopardy because Lesnar refuses to lose. Not for nothing, bro. I don't think you're at liberty right now to dictate how your career goes. I don't. All that shit that came out with Vince, you took 2 years off screen, they were still paying you. When you were riding off to the goddamn sunset, you were a part of that situation as well. Your name was brought up in that specific situation, but WWE still paid you and then brought you back after the dust settled. I don't think Lesnar is really at the liberty to dictate what happens throughout the remainder of his career. I just don't. I think, honestly, Lesnar's very lucky to be in the position that he's in right now, being on WWE television and still working with WWE after all the shit that has happened. So I don't think he's at the liberty to say, you know what, I'm going to lose when I want to lose. Bro, I don't think you're at the liberty to do that. I don't. I think you're very lucky to be in the situation that you're in right now, and the fact that they were still paying your ass while you were gone on television for 2 years, and the fact that you still kept a goddamn job with WWE. So yeah, I don't think you're at liberty to dictate what happens for the remainder of your career. And if anybody has the cojones there, I'll be telling Brock Lesnar, hell no. This is how this shit's going down. This is how we're booking it. If you don't like it, there's the fucking door. Simple as that. And people can say, well, bro, there's that fear that he's going to go to AEW. AEW to do what? To do what? After all the shit that's happened with Lesnar, I don't think people in AEW are really going to be super thrilled to have them on Wednesday nights. I just don't. I'm sorry. I sure as hell don't want to see Lesnar on AEW. I don't. I can give a shit less, bro, to be honest with you. And when that news came out about Lesnar, it pissed me the fuck off. You are very lucky, sir, to be in the situation that you're in. After all that shit that came out, with your name written in bold in that shit. But, WWE kind of writ you off TV. You were off TV for 2 fucking years. They were still paying you, and then miraculously you come back after the fucking, all that dust settles. Give me a fucking break, bro. You have no right or liberty to dictate what happens throughout your career, buddy. You don't. You don't. You don't. And honestly, for what it's worth, his Hall of Fame status, bro, should be in jeopardy after all that shit has happened, to be honest with you. I was not thrilled when Lesnar came back. I'm still not. Is he a household name? Sure. Is he a money-making guy for WWE? Absolutely. I'm not going to discredit that. But do I think he deserves the shit that he's getting right now and the position that he wants and all this other shit and the fact that he don't want to lose until he retires? Fuck no. No. That's not the way that shit works, man. And the WWE does that, shame on you for that. That guy is very lucky to be in the position that he that he's in. You don't get to dictate your fucking future for what you did, bro. Because no offense, your name was written in fucking bold when all that shit happened. And all those allegations and shit. Your name was on the fucking cover of that shit. At the forefront. So they didn't fire your ass. They just told you to fucking lay low for 2 years. We're going to pay you. We're going to let the dust settle a little bit. And then we're going to bring your ass back to WWE television. And now you want to make fucking demands, bro? Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to lose a damn match till I retire. Get the fuck out of here, man. And see, that's the thing that I go back to since he said that. If we're going back to the whole WrestlePalooza shit where John should have beat Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. So again, how long has this been going on where Lesnar ain't going to lose a goddamn match? You tell me. In my honest opinion, I don't think he's somebody or an individual on that roster right now that gets to dictate his future. Or at liberty to do so after all the shit that his name has been brought up in. I just don't. I think, if anything, he's very lucky to even have a fucking job at this moment. If anything, Lesnar should be kissing their asses for not only still paying his ass when he was off TV for 2 fucking years, but the fact that he still kept a job. He still collected a check from WWE after all those fucking allegations came out about Lesnar. So yeah, I don't think he's at liberty or should be at the liberty to dictate his fucking future for WWE. So if that's the case, that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. That shit there, I can't stand. And not only can I not stand that, minus all the other shit with Lesnar, but bro, the fact that you're not willing to put over other talent to project this company better than what it was when you left. Like, you're not willing to put nobody over at all. And you're that self-centered and that much of a goddamn prick not to put somebody over. Because not for nothing, if the match was booked between Femi and Lesnar, without a shadow of a doubt, Femi should walk out with the W. And Lesnar should put over Oba Femi, because Oba Femi is the future of this fucking business for the next 10, 15 goddamn years. Oba Femi should be the guy. Not the guy to replace the Beast, but the ruler. Because there's so many other matches on the table that this guy could have. People are still salivating for a Gunther versus Oba Femi match. We thought we were going to get that in the finals of the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament, even though Oba Femi was not even a part of the goddamn tournament. But a lot of people wanted to see Gunther versus Oba Femi, myself included. But the fact that you're not willing to even put over other talent, bro, is absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. It is, bro. It's being self-centered. It's being fucking selfish. It does nothing to Lesnar if he loses. Give me a fucking break, man. I mean, not for nothing. And not only that, bro. I mean, you want to talk about somebody that's selfish. You're not willing to put nobody else over, like an Oba Femi. But Taker had no problem putting your ass over because he believed in you at the time as being the guy to beat the streak. A streak that is I can't tell you how known that streak is for WrestleMania. It's one of the biggest things for WrestleMania every year. Who's going to beat the streak? Look at the undefeated streak for Taker, but Lesnar finally beats Taker and breaks the streak, and how much of a historic moment that was, and how much Taker put Lesnar over in that moment. You're not willing to pay back the company that helped build who you are, bro? Because let's face facts, man. It wasn't like you had a career in the NFL. You didn't. I'm sorry. And not for nothing, I watch UFC, bro. Hell, I know much more about UFC than I do WWE. And it's not like you had this elaborate goddamn UFC career, bro. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I think you got lucky. You fought Heath Herring, who wasn't doing shit. You fought Randy Couture, who, again, absolute legend, but at the tail end of his career. You know what I mean? You fought, not only that, hell, you fought Mark Hunt, and you won that match, and you got popped for it. And the match was reversed. They even took that shit to court. Come on, bro. Come on. And then you ran into a guy named Cain Velasquez who beat the bricks off your dumb ass. Alistair Overeem beat your ass. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Shane Carwin almost destroyed your ass. And I know you were shitting in your boots going up against a guy like Shane Carwin, because Shane Carwin would have tapped that chin, you would have fell like a 50-pound pack of fucking potatoes. Get the fuck out of here. That's the shit that pisses me off with Lesnar, man. It's a fucking joke. It is. It's a fucking joke. The guy should have been fired from this company. From all that shit that came out and Lesnar's name being at the forefront, shame on you for bringing the guy back. And now you want to make fucking demands? Get the fuck out of here, man. Are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me? You're not at the liberty to make fucking demands. Number one. Number two, shame on you for not willing to put other talent over to help WWE be better in the next 10, 15 years. Because no offense, a guy like Obafemi is the future of this fucking business for the next 10, 15 years. Come on, man. I'm hoping that's a bunch of bullshit. With Lesnar saying that he doesn't want to lose until he retires. I hope it's a bunch of bullshit. I hope they tell him no. I hope they tell him no. That's not the way it fucking works here. We write the stories. You facilitate the story. If you don't like it, there's the fucking door. Get out. Simple as that. You're lucky to have a fucking job, sir. You're lucky to have a job. You're lucky they kept you around after all that shit that happened. Well, he didn't get in trouble for it. His name was at the fucking forefront of it. He had to be involved in some kind of fucking way. Simple as that. Simple as that. You know what I mean? So, like, no, bro, no. And Lesnar's known to be doing that shit even before all this crap, man. He's selfish and self-centered. He's all about himself. That's it. That's why nobody wants to fucking work with him. That's it. It's Lesnar's way or the highway. Fuck out of here, bro. Sorry. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Not for nothing, the Beast sounds like a puppy dog, man, to be honest with you. That's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. You're lucky to have a job, sir. And that shit that irritates the fucking shit out of me. It does. After all that shit that came out, all those allegations, now you think you had the liberty to dictate what happens with the rest? Nah. This is the way it's going to go down, bro. If you don't like it, then you walk your little punk ass out the door. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry. I just think that's a bunch of bullshit, and if that is true, you're not willing to put over other talent, man. Come on, bro. Come on. How self-centered can you be? How much of an egotistical asshole can you be, bro? Honestly. It's my way or the highway. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Seriously. You don't want to leave the place that helped build you better than what it was when you were there? You don't want to give back to the company that made you who you are? Come on, bro. Come on. Come on, man. There's no fucking way. And like I said, his UFC career was dog shit too. Oh, he was UFC heavyweight champion. He got lucky. He got lucky. Let's just be real, bro. Let's call a spade a spade. He got lucky. Frank Mir tapped his ass out, and then UFC 81 tapped his ass out. He got lucky at UFC 100. Let's just be real. He fought Heath Herring, who wasn't doing shit. At UFC 87, wasn't doing shit. He fought Shane Carwin. If Carwin was able to tap him on his chin, bro, he would have been passed out sleeping. Let's be real. His stand-up game is fucking horrible, number one. Cain Velasquez beat the bricks off his dumb ass, and Alistair Overeem beat the shit out of him as well. Come on, bro. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get out of here. Velasquez mollywopped his ass. That's what happened. He made him realize that he stepped in the cage that day with the wrong guy. And Velasquez beat the shit out of him, rightfully so. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on, man. It's a fucking joke, bro. It really is. I'm sorry that I went on this little tangent and this little rant, but that shit, when that news came out about Lesnar, it pissed me off. You're not willing to put over the younger talent, and now you're in a position where you think you can dictate what happens for the remainder of your career, bro. You're lucky to have a fucking job. I'm sorry. Now, again, if they book this match, great. Obafemi and Lesnar should happen. But there's another issue with that. If the rumors are true and they book Obafemi versus Lesnar, you're going to have Lesnar beat Obafemi? Come on, man. Obafemi needs to have this match, and Oba needs to go over. It's the right thing to do. He's the future of this business. And he's the future of WWE. Hands down. But with that being said, though, this is my review of Friday Night Smackdown. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.